Okay, hey guys, I'm here with my friend Wafa and my boyfriend David. So our discussion is going to be about interpersonal communication through different family backgrounds. And I'm glad you guys could make it with me today. So we're gonna start off with our first round, our warm up and questions. Okay, so for the first scenario, according to a Harvard study at Harvard University, only about 30% of families eat dinner together, even though it is a huge beneficial to kids and teens in the long run. Do you guys think that family dinners are important in the family, and does it make you guys closer when bonding, and why?
Okay, I'm going to answer first.
Okay.
It's because I didn't know that it's only 30%. I think that's a really low number because I thought more people ate together than that, at least. I think it's nice. I don't think it's always possible because parents have lives and people have jobs. So it can be difficult sometimes to make it happen. But I think it's nice to do that. And I think when people have time, they definitely should.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I grew up where, like, I didn't necessarily eat with my mom and dad, but I did eat with all my brothers and sisters, which is kind of like the same thing. And my parents would come in later or whatever like that. But yeah, I think it is definitely important um, having that bonding time and eating together with your family.
Okay.
It definitely makes a difference.
All right. And are you guys going to do the same routine with your future kids as far as eating together? Do you think
Depends
that's
what meal. But yeah.
so? It depends on the meal. Does it also depend on the holiday or?
Yeah.
If I ever do have kids, yes, I would probably want them to eat with the family whenever we could.
Okay. All right.
That's understandable. Yeah, I would want to do that too. It just, like I said, it depends. Like on weekends, definitely for sure. Since I'm off work, there's no excuse for me not to. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I'm going to discuss a little bit about the theoretical concept, just briefly. So, theoretical concept is basically your way of thinking and doing things within your environment that makes it what it is. Even though there may be set methods that can change over time, just like how there's like rules and traditions in y'all's families. Um, as an adult, you might or might not have, the same views or communications when you grow up as adults. Um, so, with that being said, I'm going to go back to the scenario again with another follow up question. Um, so, growing up, what was it like? What was some things you had to do or you had to go to, like an event or something that, you would get in trouble for if you didn't do it?
you just described church pretty much.
Church.
You said what? Yeah, that type of thing. Just going to make sure you go to church, make sure you wake up in enough time to uh, not just be there, but participate and all this other type of stuff.
Okay.
So that's, yeah, my perspective.
I had a few things like that too. They weren't necessarily like church, but they were little gatherings with like teachings of the religion. So basically, what church does. And, we wouldn't really get in trouble for it, but if I didn't go enough times, I would hear, you didn't go that many times, you need to come now at least. So it was something that, you needed to do, and it was better if you did it. They'd always tell me the other kids are going. It's like things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there were a few things.
The school count? I mean, definitely school. Like,
Yeah.
kids definitely do ditch school, and I definitely would never do that because, yeah, and get in trouble. as a kid.
Yeah, I'd be way too scared to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. School. Yeah, I feel like school is a very common thing though with every family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you guys going to follow those same rules, regulations, and traditions in your future households? Or is it going to be something totally different?
I think I'm gonna let them try it and see how they feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I think there's a balance between, still following what you need to follow or want to follow, like following your family's traditions or keeping the things the same way. I think there's a way to do that and still not, make your kids miserable.
Yes.
So, yeah, I
That's
think,
what it is.
right. And showing them the good parts of all that stuff, I think would be nice. So, yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Same. Pretty much. I mean, it was the same thing I was gonna say, like,
Oh my God.
for the most part.
So we're going to go into the second scenario. Worldwide, about 15 to 23% someone in a family household live with a parent or relative that suffers with depression or some sort of mental illness. Families have dealt with an issue or problem in their lifetime. How does your family deal with these issues to a problem, and how do they come up with a solution?
Well, my family, not to say it's like really a bad thing. We still care about each other, but like if you see like you're depressed, like they not really. Yeah, I don't know. They not really be like, yeah, and agree with you that you are depressed and see it from your perspective. Usually, if you're like younger and like a teenager and you say you're depressed to your parents, they would just not understand you for the most part.
Yeah. I think that's why it's hard being a teenager too, because you say all this is going on and it's going on. They don't believe you. Or
Right,
they don't,
yeah.
even if they believe you, they don't think it's a big deal. And,
Right, yeah. Which is just as bad.
Right, you're just going through a phase. I think there are very few families, at least like the generation that my parents are from, that really care about things like that. And I don't think they know much about it and how real it is. I think my parents might have mental illnesses and not even know it because they just...
Yeah, most definitely.
You're right. They
It'd be like that.
So I think they don't deal with it the best, but I think they don't really know any better.
Yeah.
Okay. So, second question. Do you think that, well, that pretty much answers also the second question.
Oops.
Do you think that, but I have another question, which is, do you think that it is mandatory for families to have counseling? Is it mandatory for any family to go through counseling?
Yeah, I think so. That's definitely something that should be important, not just lectures. Lecture is not the same thing as counseling. You should be counseling your kids and stuff like that to make sure they're good mentally, which is, like I said, not the same thing as lecture and just talking their head off, but also listening to what they have to say.
Right. Yeah, like actually listening to their feelings rather than just saying, oh, you're okay. Just let them know you're not. Yeah. I agree. I think counseling helps everyone. I think even more than like just past families, just people in general. I think everyone needs someone to talk to. Counselors have their own counselors. So like, So I think it's definitely a good idea and it could make things better always.
Okay. All right. So, all right. We're almost done, guys. So as we conclude, can you well, can you explain to me what things that you can approve on change? What things would you approve, change, or adapt to that would make your life, not just your family life, but your life better based off of what you guys been through as children?
So what would we do differently type thing?
Yes.
I got so lost in that question. Okay, so how do we adapt based on what we went through, like now as adults,
Yes.
or like how it changed us?
Well, adapt, change, or improve. So it's either one of those three things.
So
Okay.
based on like how we was raised, what would we do differently
Yes.
based on like what we were taught when we were younger?
Mm-hmm. Or you would just keep things the same because that's what you agree upon.
Well, I mean, as I get older, you experience a lot of stuff, so you kind of get your own perspectives on it. Also, keeping in mind what you were taught when you were younger, it puts it more into like a context. So now, the stuff that you were taught when you were younger, you actually are like experiencing some of those things as you get older, and you develop your own opinions and perspectives on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of just like maturing too. So,
Yeah, I believe it. We don't know what we know until we know it.
yeah.
So, yeah, and our parents tell us all these things, and we don't really understand, and then we see it happen, and we live it.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. But, there's still some things that I feel like are different from how my parents dealt with it. But I think that's just like a human thing. Like everyone's going to want to deal with things in a different way. But for the most part, adulting sucks. And
Yeah.
I hate it, but it's like my parents said it would be. So
Okay. Good
Yeah.
answers. So we're going to wrap this up. So I have one final question. As we conclude, what would be some fun things that you would like to do for as far as family goes? What are some fun things that you'd have or have a good memory of?
So you're saying like what good memories do we have like with our family?
Like, what are the fun times?
I always like cookouts and stuff like that with my family. It's like family reunions type thing. Because it's definitely not something that happens often, but when it does happen, it is definitely a good time.
cookouts sound fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like eating dinner with them, that was one of the questions, but I really like those memories because we would all just laugh a lot and it was just fun. Yeah, and then we have like our own type of Christmas thing, but we get money, and I really like those.
That's nice.
Yeah, your rich relatives would really hook you up. It's pretty good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so what we discussed here today is that we took a look at what interpersonal communication is based off of different backgrounds of different households and different cultures. Some stuff is similar, some stuff is different, which is really great. And I appreciate you guys for taking the time out to, do this interview. And you guys did really great. So, yay.
Anything for you, Peter.
No problem.
So, I'm going to conclude this video. And thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
See ya.